Hey folks, happy holidays. We are going to squeeze another installment of the Red Book of Magic today. Maybe one tonight. I don't know. We'll see how things go. But anyway, we're going to start the S spells, which will probably take us 10 sessions. So it will be a while. Unless I get mad and just start scrolling through a bunch over the holiday weekend. Okay. First spell, Safe. New spell, right? It is cast. No, it's not. It's an old spell. I'm sorry. Old spell. Cast on container or an opening, right? That's going to keep people from getting into it or going through it. Bars passage. Lasts for 8 weeks, just like the whole passage and lock thing, right? Anyone other than the caster who tries to either open the container or cross that opening I missed a point. I'm sorry. This spell must be boosted with magic points because when you try to cross it, somebody else tries to cross it, they have to do a power versus power resistance roll. Actually, I can use verbiage here because they say when anyone other than the caster tries to open the container or cross an opening secured with this spell, roll the spell's magic points against the trespasser's power. Match the magic points against power and resistance roll table is what it should say, in my opinion. Okay, so if the spell succeeds, then the trespasser takes 1d6 points to total hit points, and is forced back. If the trespasser's power is not overcome by the magic points, the spell is broken and ends. An intruder may try to force their way past the spell again and again and again until either they succeed, give up, or die. Good to go. Okay, Sanctified, old spell. Duration is special. I marked this for a reason. Okay. Blesses a volume, 10-meter radius, usually a sphere, but earth cults are cubic. It's cast on level ground, so half the hemisphere is above and half is underneath, half the volume, rather. And the sanctified area itself is not detectable by touch or by dark sense. However, the boundaries do shimmer slightly in full daylight. Okay. Cult members. This makes me think that maybe you need to do a sanctify for each different cult. Temples are cult oriented. Yeah, I would bet that. Yeah. So if your Odala initiate cast sanctify to attempt to recover his runes points, anybody else who's Odala could use that as a temple. Otherwise, only associated Orla and some other folks, Yinkin, could technically use it too. Interesting. Thought to remember. Circle that. Okay. You can perform ceremonies as if you were at a temple. Like replenishing rune points, right? Yeah. When the ceremony ceases, that's when the duration ends. So if you're going to use your meditation or do a ritualize your worship service or whatever, make it last a whole week so you get this plus 40% chance on whatever you're doing, it lasts that long. Interesting. Okay. If non-initiates, spells, or spirits cross the boundary, the caster is alerted. Additional rune points of Sanctify, stacked points of Sanctify, increase the area by half again. Right? So 2 points goes to 15 meters, 3 points goes to 22.5. Next one would be 33 3/4, that kind of thing, right? Okay. Grand, new spell. Increase the target's move, MOV, right? To the regular movement multiplied by the number of points of the spell plus 1. When I first read this, I thought, okay, 1 rune point plus 1 is 2. 2 times move is 16. But that is not the case. The plus 1 is added after the multiplication. So, 1 point spell increases movement 1 times 8 plus 1 to 9. 2 point. 2 times 8, 16, plus 1, 17. Interesting. Okay. This increased speed, however, reduces the target's ability to react, so their agility and manipulation skills are at minus 20. Nice little factor in there, like that. Scum, new spell. Again, duration is special. This spell can only be cast on a still body of water that has plant growth, right? Causes a 3-meter square area of the surface to be completely covered in algae. The algae grows to completely cover the area in 15 minutes. So it takes 15 minutes, which is the normal duration for a spell, right, to cover your area, your chosen coverage of area, right? Additional points stacked of the spell multiply the area affected by 3 meters. Okay, so instead of 2-point spell, instead of being a 3-meter square, would be, what, 6 meters square? Okay, so you stack to increase the area, but it takes 15 minutes to fill up your entire area. What's the duration? It says it's special, but it doesn't say in here what the duration actually is. Forever? Until somebody jumps in the scummy pool? My brother, when he was in high school, they had a swim team, and the filtration system wasn't working well, and they called the first guy to jump in the pool the scum buster because he... Okay. Yeah. I have no idea how long the spell lasts. Sea Strength, new spell. Doubles the target strength. That's a consistent kind of factor of things, right? Yeah. Target, however, must be in contact with seawater when the spell is cast. Oh, when the spell is cast. So we can get out afterwards as long it'll keep going for the duration. It doesn't say it has to maintain it. Contact, so it must be contact when the spell is cast. So if you're on board ship, you throw them overboard, cast a spell, drag them back up. Or better yet, just keep a freaking barrel of salt water on this ship. Stick your hand in it. There we go. Okay. Seal Soul, hold spell. The limited resurrection type spell. And I mentioned this in a previous spell because it talks about how much damage the body takes when it dies. Okay. Typically only used on cult members, however, it's occasionally sold to outsiders for outrageous prices. Why we say that about this particular spell and not any others, I don't know. It is a one-use spell, though. Interesting. It costs 200 lunars for a 1 point spell. Doesn't specify it's a one use or not. Okay. Another issue I have. Okay, let's go. Okay. The body must be slain, not having died from disease or age. And the body must be fully healed, or the person will simply die again. Okay. The caster engages in spirit combat with the spirit of the deceased. Okay, that's kind of like the resurrection we talked about earlier, right? If the caster is successful in overcoming the spirit during the first round of combat, the body and spirit rejoined. So if we get a tie or he fails, that's it. That's pretty harsh, I think. Especially since people tie so often. Okay. After casting the spell and engaging the spirit, the caster then loses 1d3 Constitution, C-O-N. A d3 worth. Is this temporary or is this permanent? Because that means things. If it's temporary, like losing points due to a disease, you'll pick those up over seasons. They'll come back. If it's permanent, holy cow. And they get a little paragraph about after each person's dead for a day, every day after that, they take damage to their stats. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, and again, if the dead were 7 days, no dice. Okay. Seal Tongue, new spell. The 4-hour ritual. If it had been 5, we'd gotten plus 40 instead of plus 35 you get for a 1-hour ritual. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. Must be performed on a willing target, okay, who sacrifices 2 points of power. Magic points must be stacked with this spell. In other words, this spell must be boosted with magic points. Okay, the target then adds the boosted magic points to the ritual with boosted in the ritual, right, to his own power when he resists anyone attempting to interrogate him with truth detecting or truth enforcing spells of any nature. Now that's kind of handy. I like that. And I may default to him and he just because I speak that way. No other intended purposes. Okay. If the target successfully resists, and this threw me for a loop, it's got to be a willing target. They're talking about truth spells. If the target successfully resists truth spells, it's not written here, truth spells, right? The truth spell, has no effect on them. If they fail to resist the truth spell, they die. They're not getting the truth out of those guys. That's pretty wild. Okay, Seal Wound, another new spell. This spell causes a weapon, so you have to cast it on a weapon to deal damage that cannot be regenerated or magically healed. I like that. Now, there are wounds that you can cause that causes bleeding. Loses 1 point per round, right? 1 hit point per round because you're bleeding, right? And you can also take triple damage and get severed or mangled limbs, right? Heal 2 will stop that bleeding, but it won't do any healing to the body. Just like the Heal 6 will reattach or cure the limb, but does not actually do any hit point increases, which helps clarify some issues we had earlier on in my game. Because if you're spending 2 points to stop the healing, that's going to stop the bleeding. Those 2 points go into stopping the bleeding. You don't heal with it. Same thing with 6 points on a severed limb. If you put 6 magic points into a limb to heal spell to reattach a limb, that's what the 6 points go to, reattaching the limb. But having researched it further and some other discussions, and me not trying to be too much of a bad guy. Okay, yeah. Heal 2, stop bleeding, and heals 2 points. Heal 6, reattaches, and heal 6. But not for these kinds of wounds. Okay. Second Mouth, new spell. This spell can only be cast by a woman, and I would say on a woman. Oh, it's a self. There we go. That's right. That's why. It's a self. Okay. Cast by a woman, so a woman casts it on herself. Enables her to take immediate vengeance upon any unwelcomed sexual contact. Renders her immune to any progenitive powers. That means reproductive type powers. For the duration of the spell, which is 15 minutes, unless you stack it with duration, right? The details of this spell are best left to the game master to define. Okay, next spell. Seek Omen, another new spell. This was actually pretty cool. I like this. Kind of dangerous, though, too. Okay. It's a ritual performed over a single chosen individual and cannot be cast on that person more than once during any single week. And you'll see why. Okay. When the spell is cast, when the ritual is performed, you roll 2 d6s. I just have my gold ones here, right? One's a good die, one's a bad die. I would use different colors. Good is white, black, bad is evil, black kind of thing, right? 2 dice, different colors, good and bad. You roll them both. You subtract the lower number from the higher number. If the higher number is the good die, then the target gets a significant skill roll, chosen by the GM, changed into a critical success at some time in the upcoming week. So that's why that's that 1 week thing, right? And the number of points that the good die is higher than the bad die is how many skills rolls get to be changed. I did say significant, right? 1 significant skill roll. Yeah, I think that's significant. Okay, now, reverse. The black die is higher than the lower die. So still subtract, right? And the number of points is still the number of times that a significant skill roll gets to be changed, but instead it's changed to a fumble during that week. Now, a caster knows if it's good luck or bad luck and has some idea of how much. I determine that out. A little bit or a lot. That's how it comes down to for me. Okay. Sever Spirit, old spell. This spirit, what spirit? Is this a summon spell? It doesn't say summon, but it sounds like maybe Sever Spirit is summoning a severed spirit. Severine spirit. Interesting. Okay. So, it acts as a sword. Because this spell, you're not casting on a sword, is acting like a sword, right? Cuts the bond between the body and the spirit of the target. If the caster overcomes the target's power, the target dies. If the caster is unsuccessful in overcoming the target's power, the target takes 1d6 damage to their general. That means their total hit points. We're kind of familiar with this concept because I had a Hamakti guy who was talking about being a Hamakti priest and just running around with Sever Spirit. No, don't worry about your weapon skills. Sever Spirit, Sever Spirit. Okay, Shadow Dance, new spell. Special duration. Okay, when cast upon a group of dancing trolls. Kind of specific there, right? All the trolls in the dance receive this benefit, the benefit of this spell, right? Okay. For the duration of the spell, whenever a troll overcomes an enemy in spirit combat, they do an extra point of damage in spirit combat. Kind of interesting, kind of cool. When would you actually use this? I don't know. Okay, but hey, here. Duration special, right? Normal duration is 15 minutes. However, all the trolls in the group they're dancing get to make a dance roll when the spell is cast. So cast and dance together, right? Simultaneous kind of thing, right? If the dance roll is successful, if it's unsuccessful, right? Let's say about fumbles though. Just as unsuccessful. If it's unsuccessful, it lasts for 15 minutes. The effects of the shadow dance spell last for 15 minutes for that troll. Okay? If that troll rolled a regular success, the effects of the dance spell last for an hour. If the troll rolled a special success, it lasts for 6 hours. A critical success, a week. That's the thing about a fumble. But also doesn't say that the trolls must continue to dance. So we all get into a dance, cast a spell, and now we go out hunting enemy spirits. Maybe that's what it's like. Okay, good to go. I feel better about it. Okay, Shake Earth, old spell. The caster must expend magic points. This spell must be boosted with magic points. The magic points determine the size of the area affected, and any stacked rune points, so it can be stacked as well, but it does say stackable. Okay, the stacked rune points, and you use a stack, determines the severity of the spell result. It says the result. It's in the spell result. Okay. The spell affects a geometrically proportionate. This spell affects an area geometrically proportionate. Talk about passive verbiage. Okay. To the number of magic points expended. Okay. In other words, 1 point is 1 square meter. 2 points is 2 by 2, 4 square meters. 3 points is 3 by 3, 9 square meters. Okay. Everyone inside the area is affected, and all agility and manipulation skills and all dex rolls are at minus 5% for each level of severity, for each rune point stacked. Then they say that each round, anyone standing up must roll dex times 5 or fall prone. How about each round, everyone must roll dex times 5 roll or fall prone? It doesn't matter if you're standing up or not. If you're in the area and it's shaking during the, it says temporal. So it's for 15 minutes, right? You got this thing shaking for 15 minutes. I don't care if you are still standing. You need to make a dex roll to keep standing, right? It's kind of implying that because it sounds like everybody falls down automatically on the first round, which isn't automatic, but I would just each round anyone must roll dex times 5 or fall prone. But I'm going to scratch through standing up right there. And again, modified by the severity. Each stacked rune point. Minus 25. Good to go. There's a thing back on the next page here says other results of the quake, such as toppling trees, avalanche, etc., left the game master's determination. No earthquake can range from a light tremor, 1 square meter, level 1 or one rune point, to catastrophic, a city-killing event, which would be 10 points stacked boosted by 100 magic points. 100 meters by 100 meters. That would take down a city, right? Happy gaming.